This podcast is brought to you by Eileen Merriman. We Brothers 3 can only imagine how difficult the parenting of 3 can be. For solace in the rush and crush of schoolchildren years, parents oft resort to babysitters, books, or beers, anything to take the sting off of all the stress that children can bring, off giving toilet seats a plunge, and college funds, and living in a house layered in grunge. Our mom would have managed, sure, without some mental cure, but having a dependable friend at each day's end has truly paid dividends. And for all our mom worries about We Brothers 3 worry about our mom equally. About all she's given up to help us grow up. If she's having fun, finding friends that she can trust, like she's always hoped for us, because there's no one more deserving of such. Eileen is all these. Friend, fun, and faithful, and in being our mom's constant and quirky companion, she's giving us the joy of watching our mom just be happy. So thank you, Eileen. Thank you from all of us boys for the joy. Welcome to Little, Middle, and Biggle. I'm your middle brother, Joshua.
I'm your little brother, Andrew.
And I'm your biggle brother, Noah.
And we are the ones who will try our best to answer the little, middle, and biggle questions we all have in life, all together in person, because holiday. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah.
Right.
Now nobody will sound like they're coming out of the U-bend of a toilet, as sometimes happens because we're all on the same microphone. So if we're in the U-bend, we're all in it together. Andrew, you get the honor of starting us off with the little question.
Okay.
Please go for it.
What is you guys' favorite Star Wars movie?
Ooh.
Like out of all of the ones present, including Solo and Rogue One. And the new 3.
Well, Andrew, you have definitely watched them more than either of us, potentially combined.
Really?
I believe so. I think you are the Star-Warsiest Star Wars fan
among the three of us
in the trio.
Do
you agree, Noah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Man, that's an honor. I always thought at least Noah was a bigger fan, because you guys always played Star Wars Rogue Squadron and stuff.
Oh, I mean...
on the GameCube.
Rogue Leader.
Rogue Leader.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Although, well, never mind. Yeah, my favorite movie is chronologically the third one, which is
Episode 3.
Episode 3, and now I can't remember the name. But the one where Anakin turns into, spoilers, Darth Vader. Spoilers to the 3 people who listen to this podcast, probably 0 of which have not seen Star Wars.
Yeah, because one of them is Dad. And,
but yes, I know the prequels get a lot of flack, but the third one is just so good and so good in my opinion, and important to the story. And they did not miss opportunities. I didn't feel like they guided it exactly where it needed to go. Whereas with the 9th movie, The Rise of Skywalker, it was really cool and it had a lot of cool story, but there were plot holes and so many missed opportunities that they could have made cool things happen, and instead they just made something new up. Yeah.
What do you mean by they didn't miss any opportunities for the 3rd episode? And they did with the newer one.
With the newer ones, maybe they did miss opportunities with the 3rd one, and it just doesn't appear because they missed so many with the 9th one.
Other question, what opportunities did they miss with the 9th one?
Yeah, how do you know that they didn't miss any opportunities? Because, you wouldn't know what would have happened if it just didn't happen.
Well, when I say miss opportunities, I mean from the point of view of someone who really likes Star Wars and wants everything to flow together. But Exegol, was that the planet that
I have no idea. You look at me like I actually know anything about Star Wars.
Oh,
I know who Yoda is and Baby Yoda.
That's good. But the planet that Emperor Palpatine is reincarnated on his robot arm in the 9th movie. I think it's called Exegol.
That actually sounds right.
But in like Star Wars The Clone Wars, they talk about this Sith, home planet. Like the Jedi have their home planet. And I don't remember what it's called now. But they could have made that the same planet and then it would have all flowed together. And there are a lot of other things that I can't think of off the top of my head.
So do you consider the Clone Wars to be canonical Star Wars?
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting. I always thought that they're kind of like some almost quasi ripoff because like it was completely different characters and like everything except for the world and the concept of lightsabers.
Well, yeah, but the world and the Jedi would stay the same. Even if it's not canon, if it's in the same universe, the worlds would stay the same and stuff.
Okay, better analogy. I thought of it kind of like as a fan fiction where like it's someone saying, hey, this is our take on it. And, if maybe there was never a Sith homeworld mentioned in the original canon, then they would just be like, and we imagined a Sith homeworld. And then when the new canonical, as canonical as Disney Star Wars can get, stuff came out, then they were just like, yeah, we'll make a Sith homeworld or like a Sith lair world. And then they just didn't, cross-reference.
Well, that's kind of what I mean by missed opportunities is they could have, if they had done their research, it feels like.
And watched all the Star Wars Clone Wars.
And which I would expect the producers of Star Wars to do. They could have, made a very contiguous universe, but instead it feels like they kind of spread things out. Like made things that didn't need to be there.
Gotcha. So in essence, 3... better than all. 9, maybe bottom of all.
Not bottom of all. The first episode 1 is bottom of all.
Okay, wow.
I can just, with you saying that episode 3 is the best one, I can just hear, like, if they're listening, both Amber and Matt just like, no! Oh, what?
Which one do they think is better?
Oh heck, I don't know.
They just hate the third one?
I've just heard them both go on. like at one point, they're visiting in Memphis, and they were like, so like on the drive here, we like rewrote the entire first trilogy of Star Wars, and like here's how the whole thing goes.
How it should have gone?
Yeah. How it should have ended.
But there are so many, like episode 3 and episode 2 a little bit, but episode 3 in particular has impacted pop culture so much more than any of the other Star Wars in terms of like my generation with memes and stuff. Like there's there's Obi-Wan jumping down to General Grievous where he says, "Hello there."
Okay, well, wait, hang on. So here's personal opinion. Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first 3 episodes is like completely separate from the first 3 episodes. Like every scene with him in it is awesome. And then everything else is garbage. And if it's a mix of like him and Anakin, it's like 50-50. Just kind of like, is this a weird balance of like, why is this like awesomely acted, seemingly like better written character in this scene?
Yeah. With Obi-Wan. Or not Obi-Wan. With Anakin, who's like,
I like sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like sand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think he and Padme, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both, good actors. I think their dialogue was just not very good.
Yeah.
It was like hard to build the right relationship on screen and everything. Like with their characters, it just kind of felt clunky and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
If you think episode 3 is the best one, then you're entitled to your own incorrect opinion.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm not, in a position to judge because I have not seen any of the original 7 Star Wars movies in probably over a decade. So I'll buy into it. Third's great. Yeah. But my favorite out of all of the three, oh gosh. 7, 10, 12? 11.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, of all the 11, probably whichever one has Jar Jar Binks.
Are you serious?
Yes, I love Jar Jar Binks. I love Jar Jar Binks because he is not necessary, but he is just fun. Like he is there. I love him because he is not necessary, because he is there for no other reason than just to like be stupid and get in the way. Like I think that that is such a realistic character type. Like the people who are just there in the world and you're like, why are you here? You're not developing the plot line of the world at all. And they're just like, Misa, Yusa. And yeah. So yep, the Jar Jar Binks one.
Oh,
so is that episode
1 and 2 and 3. I think
But he's only minimally in 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I thought he was in the original ones. I didn't think he was in the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the prequels.
Cool. Still, yeah. Yep.
Sweet.
Andrew, you can file the disownment paperwork after the podcast, but
It's okay. Speaking of missed opportunities, I feel like that's a big missed opportunity that the last 3 movies made, episodes 7, 8, and 9, missed. That sentence didn't flow. But, like, there were...
You want to pause for a second while you unzip your jacket?
no, that's fine. I'll just do it on stealth.
Okay. Stealth.
Well, people noticed that in the prequels, the first 3 episodes, Jar Jar Binks would like...
You can't hear the code unzipping. You don't hear anything. Continue.
Anyways, Jar Jar Binks would like be mouthing things and appear to be using the Force when really he wasn't, and they could have made him end up being Supreme Leader Snoke or the supreme power behind all the other Jedi, like how Emperor Palpatine talks about Darth Plagueis the Wise in Episode 3.
Yeah, I think that would have been a cool twist.
Yeah.
Since Yoda ended up being, the Jedi Master, and he was kind of a goofy green little munchkin at first.
Yeah. Okay, so Noah, what's your answer?
I think my favorite was the 7th episode because it was just cool whenever everything came back. I think that may have been the biggest factor. But I think they did a lot of things very well with it, and that, like, they really, pulled in the cool feeling of, like, the first time you see the X-Wings flying in, and, the evil Empire guys felt a little bit more three-dimensional in that episode than they had in any of the other episodes previously. Because at first it was like the droids who are literally just like programmed to destroy and say goofy one-liners. And then, like episode 4, 5, 6 was the stormtroopers who are just like they, purely evil, empire.
Yeah.
And then after that, it felt more like, there were a bunch of like recruits that, got dragged into this, and some of them are really evil and some of them are just kind of pulled into it, and it felt a little bit, and it felt more like as, you got to where they were on their base and everything, that it was like a big cult of personality and idea, instead of just like, oh yes, we're Empire employees, we live to blow up planets.
Yeah, that's very true. And I would agree that Episode 7 is the best of the last 3 made, and maybe just the second best of the Star Wars movies. But
it's a very good one.
It is a very good one.
Also, I think it's funny that you guys loved the first 3 episodes, since those are like stereotypically the ones that everyone just
Everybody
like
hates.
trashes on. Like, like we just pretend those don't exist.
I mean, to be fair, I was just in it for Jar Jar.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, I thought they were fun. I wouldn't say they're my favorite, and like really just like the main character dialogue in especially the second and third one just felt like weird and clunky to me.
Yeah.
But then Obi-Wan Kenobi pretty much, makes all that, balances all that out. And they're just fun movies. So,
but I mean, Josh, if you're gonna like a Star Wars movie for some random goofy thing that's just there, love it for the porgs in the last 3 episodes.
yeah, the Porgs just didn't really have much of an initiative.
Jar Jar didn't have an initiative.
Well, yeah, but he like did things.
that's true. The Porgs pretty much just...
He interacted. That's what I'm getting at. Jar Jar, good old Binksy, he interacted a little bit.
Okay, but there's not a reason to hate the porgs. There is reason to hate Jar Jar. In my opinion. That's an opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, what I got out of this conversation is what we do and don't value out of a storyline, which, for Noah, like, heroic, awesome, cool, tie back in ending.
Explosions and cool three-dimensional characters. And
Yeah. And for Andrew, consistency with the canon.
Yeah.
And for me, stupid aquatic sentient beings.
Yeah.
So,
also, Josh has been hovering over the stop button off and on for a while, so I'm curious if a poop needs to happen. Or...
No, it's because you are sitting you're like slouching so hard that I need to move the mic towards you. So,
Can you hear me now?
we can hear your mustache bristling against
Here.
the microphone.
Bristle mustache.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
This has been... What's it called? What's the like weird sound thing? This has been Mustache ASMR with Noah. It's a mustache scratch. Whoa, okay.
Extra grungy edition.
Sorry.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just scoot that a little bit.
Here, I'll sit a little bit closer too.
Great.
Is that better?
Yes, significantly. Okay, cool. Well, moving on from the little question to, and now probably when half of the listeners have come back after
their
skipping
bathroom break.
No, I was thinking like after skipping just the whole Star Wars thing because dorking out, nerding out.
Everyone should watch Star Wars.
Gosh,
The entire world population.
Gotta edit that out.
No. I already rubbed my mustache on the microphone. There's no going. No, you could take out whatever you want.
No, it's okay. I'll leave it in. I'll leave it in for the sanctity of the authenticity and other words that bear no meaning. So yeah, my middle question. Look, a segue. My middle question is: you are the last person on Earth. What's the first thing you do?
Be sad for about 20 hours.
20 hours? Man, that's a really quick half-life on your sadness.
I feel like after that, and maybe some sleep, which is not part of the 20 hours, could get it together and be like, well, this sucks. Time to do what I can. And then you just kind of push it to the side and work through the problems. And then you're sad when you've done everything you need to do again. And then you die sad.
Wow.
That is way more depressing than my answer was going to be.
Okay. I've got to push back on that. I don't think that you die sad if you're the last person on Earth. I think you die having found a new fulfillment because you've had like a number of decades to just recognize what a beautiful world it is even without humans, and that life and beauty and the change of like seasons and species and Earth over timescales of years and generations and millennia still goes on, regardless of whether or not we're here. You know, just like at the end of anyone's personal life, I imagine, they come to terms, and, you know, I say this having thought very much about my own death. for reasons unbeknown, but maybe it just comes from being in healthcare. But so at the end of your own life, you just kind of have to come to terms with the fact that, like, yeah, my part here is ending. The part that I was a group of might be ending, like if I'm the last family member alive or if I'm the last sibling alive, which, by the way, I so hope I do not have that duty, but we'll see.
Duty.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Anyway, you just come to terms with the fact that, like, okay, this is ending, but other things go on. And the world is not dependent on one human. It is not dependent on 7 billion humans. There will still be great things in the universe, with or without us.
I understand that. But I feel like, I mean, as much as we are interconnected with nature around us, I do feel like humans are special and the coolest thing on this planet.
For now. I mean, for now. Who's to say, like, with another 300 million years to evolve, like, we would maybe have, like, now sentient dinosaurs or something. We'd go full circle or something. And, like, if all of humanity just, like, disappeared tomorrow, I think that would be just a crazy, I mean, yes, tragic, but also crazy cool thing to get to see, like, Earth again, and just, like, what would happen, you know? And just to see that, yeah, life goes on.
I mean, like, if everyone disappeared right now, I would be stuck in Amarillo, Texas, to, like, look at the plains and the sad houses in the sad neighborhoods and be like, we were only halfway through our human journey.
Yeah, okay. You say that. But then you can, like, go out of the United States, or, like, Amarillo even, and to the rest of the parts of the United States, and just be like, wow, look at this beautiful world out here that I've never had the opportunity to explore.
So are you assuming, like, we can, like, I guess we could have food if we just, like, went and raided a grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, there's nobody else.
But what about gas? I mean, pumps don't work unless you have a credit card.
I thought you'd just get a bicycle. You could just get bicycles. Just steal bicycles out of every bike shop.
Be kind of cool.
You know, bike along the whole U.S. interstate system. You know, steal a jumbo jet. Well, hop the pond. And I
mean, yeah, there are all sorts of cool things that would be fun to do, like just go around smashing windows. But
wow, that has never figured on my list of things to do. What does that say about us as people?
Probably says I'm going to be marked on the CIA's watch list.
Yeah, that's what they look out for, like
people smashing windows.
Smashers.
Yeah, little white boy smashing windows. But in the end, I feel like I would always just be like, I am a poor end to this race. I mean, not that I think little of myself, but guy going around smashing windows doesn't.
Wow. Man, this turned into a much bummery question.
I don't mean for it to be a bummer. I guess I'm just...
You just love humanity that much?
Yeah, I guess so.
And there's something beautiful in that.
Yeah. Okay, well, you want to make it less bummer?
Yeah, no,
because I've thought about this a lot, actually. So if I were, like, the last person on Earth suddenly, first thing I would do would be to make sure I was actually the last person on Earth, if at all possible. And that would probably be a steady, mission throughout the rest of my existence.
Kind of like I Am Legend, that movie, where the guy's like, I'm sending this out on all radio frequencies when there's the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, or like, any of those kinds of, just making sure, because you want to, if you're not the last person on Earth, then that's awesome.
You want to keep wearing pants.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're not going to do otherwise.
Yeah. And then the important thing I would want to do would be to preserve as much of human knowledge and history, but especially knowledge, as I possibly can for whatever, semi-intelligent to intelligent life comes after us, because then that can be a speed boost for them. And really that's like, one of the most important things that we do is pass on more information and knowledge, and humanity wouldn't be a whole heck of a lot without the ability to do that,
Yeah.
And then the main thing that I would spend my days doing is just like having a great time. Think of all the cool places to explore, and like as things get taken over by nature, you'd have all these cool skyscrapers just covered in plant life with weird fauna living inside, and you could explore any place you wanted. You could it would be
you could
you could get I'm sure somewhere around here there's like a grenade launcher or something. You can drive around and just launch grenades at things.
Wow. Also something that has never come onto my list of things to do.
Or you could things like dams, if they're just not being maintained, they're just going to be blocking the river. You can find a way to blow up the dam and have it, restore the river and get to see what that would look like, which would probably be super cool. And, it's not going to, wash anybody away because there's nobody that exists anymore besides you.
It's very true.
Just lots of except the animals. Yeah, that's true. Probably have to figure that out.
But if you do it, if you make it leak slowly, then they have time to figure out they need to leave.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, lots of adventuring.
Yeah, all you need to do for the dam is just make enough of a hole in it so that some water would be reliably flowing out of it, and then it would just carve itself down, like any valley.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, think about all the planes that just suddenly have no pilots, and so they just kind of crash.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how exactly this happens. Is it everyone just disappears?
Or they're okay, let's stop what we're doing. We'll finish our tasks, and then we're just going to...
Yeah, I always imagined it was just straight up disappear.
Straight up disappear. Okay. Yeah. There would be a lot of problems too. Any nuclear power plants would suddenly...
Very true.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess ensuring my own survival would also be a thing.
Yeah. But you've got... So for the nuclear power plant stuff, you've got all the canned goods in the world and astronaut food. You could go raid the REI for the astronaut ice cream. And
that would be my first stop.
REI?
Albuquerque. REI.
Nice.
But yeah, and so you'd be good. You could stay inside places with good air filtration,
Okay, and it would be so cool to go walk around the White House.
Yeah, there's so many places that you could just explore.
Yeah.
Area 51. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
See what's there.
You could just go explore. And if you're on a mission to save human knowledge and history, those are important places to go to.
Are.
All of the places that would Library of Congress would be something you'd want to try and make sure was protected.
Mm-hmm.
All the places that would be really important for that would be really cool places to go.
Okay, so question: how are you going to preserve all this stuff?
That's a great question, because they're yeah.
My thought was just shrink wrap an entire library's worth of scholarly books.
Yeah, that's probably the most logical option.
Yeah.
It's servers of the internet are gonna be not useful within your lifetime almost.
And if you use a flash drive or something, the chances of some other alien species coming along and making, not alien, earthbound non-human species making computers that work like ours, I think it's pretty slim.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I think that would be very logical, because the idea of making computers work with ones and zeros, just on and off, is very intuitive, because if you're trying to make something, that stores information, it's a lot easier to make it, where it's either on or off than try and have like a whole bunch of different states that it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. You say that with our binary human conscience that we've or consciousness, I should say, that we've developed over the years. I think that it's totally possible that, like, if octopi come up and they're like, hey, what's up? We're the new sentient superpower. They'll be like, oh, no. Trinary. Trinary is the way to go instead of binary.
0 through 8.
Yes.
Octopus.
Actually, it'd be 0 through 7. Yeah.
Octopi.
Yeah. But we have 10 digits and we do binary. It's just because it's easy to make something turn on and off. You know? Like just physics wise. I feel like eventually you're always going to fall back on ones and zeros until eventually you get so good that you can go on to, you know, like quantum computers aren't just ones and zeros. But that's like a whole, that's like another step beyond that. And if they wanted to figure it out, they probably could. I mean, we can figure out, you know, how to read old languages from just a few old books. If you had like an enormous amount of information on a flash drive, you could probably, as soon as you figured out, you know, some basic structure, like, okay, this is the actual document, and here, like, you know, there's like a series of bytes or whatever, and you start to figure out, okay, well, this one, you know, like this one must be like the end of a sentence or something.
Yeah.
I feel like it would not be an easy thing, but even if they didn't have exactly the same setup, they'd probably be able to figure it out.
Okay.
But if the information lasts that long, I like the idea of shrink wrapping
whole library.
Yeah. And then just like put it in the Svalbard seed vault or something. And like you're good.
Yeah, because we could get to Norway easy from here.
I mean, you've got every jumbo jet in the nation at your service.
Like,
just press the autopilot button and then use the funny little inflatable tube slides when it's time to touch down.
I feel like if it was Andrew that was the last person on Earth, he might be able to handle some of this.
No,
I feel like I would be like it might be. Yeah, there might have to be a different idea. Although bringing it to like the Svalbard seed vault or some other place that's cold, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
lots less erosion going on. Yeah, everything.
I feel like information storage is a very noble thing to do if you're the last person on Earth, but
it also just takes you to all the cool places.
Just the logistics of it.
Okay, so if I suddenly woke up and I was just the last person on Earth, I don't think I would do the information thing, just because I think that it would be so wonderful to give sentient life on this planet another chance to do things and like do things right.
Oh, but
without having screwed up the environment and human or, you know, octopi rights and everything, just so that they don't start going down the paths that we have, and they don't look at like I don't know, use of coal, and they're like, oh sweet, coal, you know, I know they're talking about like that nuclear energy stuff and like wind energy, that's so complicated, let's just use coal. It sounds like a great idea, and then make the exact same mistakes over and over again.
You don't want them to do that?
No, I definitely do not want them to do that.
I would think that giving them the history and information would help them not to do that.
Yeah. But also, by the time they've processed all this information and know what it means, they're probably past the coal stage, or at least to the coal stage. But maybe you would get them out of that quicker.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, well, who knows? I'm sure they'd have their own different problems and everything, but it could be something that at least helps them in the right direction. Also, the other thing that I think about is there's only, you know, if humans just suddenly disappeared, there's only so much time left that Earth has. And even though it could be that super intelligent life, well, by our standards, you know, like our level of intelligent life, even though it could appear in like 10 million years, it didn't appear until now, as far as we can tell. And so it could be that the perfect combo of, you know, that level of intelligence and, you know, social structure and ability to pass down information to future generations takes another, you know, billion years to happen again, in which case there's like significantly less time the Earth has.
Mm.
And so I figure it's, at some point, if this little section of life in the galaxy is going to continue, we've got to like move on or figure out other things to do. And so humans right now are the best shot at that. And if for some reason they all disappeared, then you'd want to give as much of a speed boost to the next intelligent life, while also hopefully, helping them avoid some of the same mistakes.
Just go around and shrink wrap all of our spaceports and launch pads.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shrink wrap the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness for, things like shrink wrap that, are cheap and easily available and just don't biodegrade very well at all.
Yeah. Wow. Aren't we lucky to have those floating around in our ecosystem? Okay. Well, thanks, guys. That was a fun question. Noah, will you do the honors of the big question?
Man, I'd love to. Then I was supposed to be thinking about what it was going to be, and then I got really into you guys' questions.
I've got a list of questions that I can
pull from.
Yeah, if you need a suggestion.
Okay, I've got one.
Okay, great.
I'm just gonna springboard off of your question, and we can get all sci-fi about it, which will be springboard off of Andrew's question.
Sweet.
But what is the ultimate goal for humanity?
Have you guys watched we need to just start having links embedded in the descriptions of each of these podcasts.
That sounds like way too much videos. Way too much work.
Yeah, it does. But the Kurzgesagt video about different stages of civilizations. Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess just being a stage 4 civilization. But I don't think we would want to be gobbling up smaller civilizations either.
Yeah. When Noah, you were talking about wanting to expand past planet Earth, initially I was like, maybe I don't really want that, because I'm afraid of what will happen when and if we come into contact with other forms of life. Because as cool as I think our form of life is here on Earth, at the same time, I don't want that to come at the expense of other forms, much like humanity has done for other forms of domestic life here on the planet. So I agree in a bit, or in spirit, with Andrew of just keep trying to push the lifeboat forward, but at the same time,
you don't want to screw up other lifeboats.
Yeah, you don't want
to just make your lifeboat into a giant cruise ship, and then squish all the other lifeboats. Actually.
Oh, look at you with the extended metaphors today.
Whoa.
Nice. Yeah, and so this kind of gets into my answer. My answer for the question is just, I think our biggest goal, or I don't know, the ultimate goal of humanity, as I see it, if I could infuse my goal for humanity onto all of humanity, it would be just to erase the mistakes that we've made, just return to a way of living with the planet instead of in spite of the planet, and living in a way that is gracious and accepting to other people instead of completely hostile, which I realize is not the way it was in the wild. But I think that returning to the sort of symbiotic relationship instead of the parasitic relationship, while also keeping those insights we've learned about loyalty and rights of individuals and stuff, that is the prime goal for me.
So not just returning to simpler times necessarily, as much as backtracking if needed in some ways, and keeping other good things, kind of having the ideal living with nature.
Yes.
Not the actual historical living with nature, but we actually all work together and get along. We actually take care of our planet.
Yeah.
And
so not reverting to hunter-gatherer societies or anything. Instead, just reverting to a 100% carbon neutral society, maybe with like a more stable, not exponentially expanding population, so that we aren't just like gobbling up more and more. Instead, we're just like coexisting alongside, you know? And even if it's like we use biofuels and stuff made out of like algae or something, so we grow the algae and then we also get fuel out of it for our things that we've come to love, like, you know, heated showers and stuff like that, then like, great. And so, yeah, the goal is just like get there as fast as possible.
But then what?
Then you just stay there. You stay there and you keep within the limits of like not becoming too extractive or not really becoming extractive at all. Innovating ways to be maybe more efficient with what you have, and then, yeah, sure, go expand to other places. Or maybe just have faith that there is other life in the universe, and that even when humanity and planet Earth as a whole winks out, you know, life goes on somewhere. And we have no idea what will happen after the heat death of the universe, but I mean, after that, maybe life will continue in some other way that we just cannot even fathom.
I like your idea about progressing to what we view as like the utopian Earth.
Also, I think it's interesting that the word that you use is progressing, and the word that Joshua used, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's more like going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like us three, if everyone on Earth was as perfect as us.
Oh, gosh, Andrew. No, don't take that advice. Don't try and be... copy me. Bad decision.
But yeah, I feel like feel like the end of humanity, now that I've thought about this a little bit, is like, what is our place in the universe, like definitively finding our place in the universe. So I think the way to find that would be to make a society like you're talking about, where we can just like do what we need to do. And then if we find out that we're just supposed to kind of hang out on planet Earth until we die, then we do that. But if we're like, oh, we're actually going to ascend to these little gobs of light that have our consciousness and can process things better, then we do whatever gets us to that.
Okay. I guess I'm more just operating under the assumption that like we are just supposed to stay here. Or if we do stay here and don't like branch out, we're not missing out on anything. Though I do see the desire to kind of reach out, just because then you have more resources that are not being utilized to then, you know, allow more life to flourish and more cool stuff to happen. Anyway, Noah, you asked this question. Will you please unbury us from it?
I mean, I like what you guys had to say. I think I had not been so much thinking about the way that Joshua was describing, where, you know, we like get everything settled here, you know, work, you know, sustainably with the planet that we are a part of, not just like exist on, but like are, you know, an integral part of, you know, the whole, what is it, geosphere? I don't know if we're correct. Biosphere?
I'd go with biosphere.
Biosphere, I think that's the word. Yeah, I like that thought, because I was thinking more like just jumping further ahead. But that is something that needs to happen first. We can't make giant leaps and bounds to, you know, future societies and all these, you know, grandiose, sci-fi ideas successfully without like taking care of where we are now. Like eventually Earth will be gone. And I think it'd be that, you know, well, okay, I'll talk more about that in a second, but eventually Earth's going to be gone. But right now, this is where we live. There's not anything close to as good as this. Like we can try and do other stuff to like kind of have like a backup plan or spread to other local areas, but nothing is at all as good as Earth. So yeah, we should figure that out, and then working together instead of against each other. Like that is such a, like, I don't know how to imbue that into all of humanity, but, you know, working for personal gain in a way that is detrimental to future generations or to even just people in your own generation around you is like such a silly thing to do, because who cares if you know, like are ultra successful in your life in you know, financially speaking,
have 3 yachts.
Yeah. Or, you know, like are playing a large part in like significantly damaging the environment, but are, you know, filthy rich or something, you know, like that doesn't, to me, that doesn't seem valuable at all, because, you know, you're still just a tiny little, you know, meat person on, on the planet. But so I think short term, that's a great goal. I think that is absolutely what we should do. And I mean, short term, like the next like 1,000 years, like it could take us plenty of time to like really get good at living on the, like, as the society that we have become, living on the planet that we are on and making good use of the resources here, but also being a part of the planet and all that. And then after that, I think that we should, as soon as possible, start spreading out to lifeless areas in our solar system. If there ends up being like life on Europa or something, then like that changes everything, and suddenly like we have to think about that too. But, you know, like pulling, you know, mining asteroids and stuff, like that seems like such a great idea, because if that's not going to, you know, damage some other civilization, then we can use that to help our own civilization up. And hopefully, eventually, we get to a point where if there are other civilizations out there, we can help them to also survive, you know, living in their solar system until they can escape it. Because really, like, you know, if you think about it, we're on a tiny little rock orbiting like a giant, you know, nuclear explosion with like huge rocks that we can't, you know, see just like hurling through space. And like, it's a surprisingly stable environment.
Yeah.
Like, we're really lucky, but like, that's something that it would be great to have some help getting out of, you know, like imagine if, you know, if we're like figuring things out and like we start to explore the solar system and really kind of get our footing, and we have a good civilization on Earth, and then like some giant meteor just comes out of, or like a tiny black hole comes out of nowhere and it's like going to destroy Earth. Mm-hmm. And then some other civilization that's just been like watching the sidelines is like, let me just get that out of the way for you. Like, good job. Keep on going. Like, that would be, I think our ultimate goal should be not to keep humanity going for forever, but to help keep life going. Because really life is like, it's like the nervous system of the universe, you know, like we can, in, you know, whether it's, you know, however it works, however real it may be, in one way or another, we can make decisions, or at least have the perception of doing so. And I think that is more valuable than anything else that's going on in the universe. And so we should help to keep that going. And I think the best way to do that is to keep humanity going, but like you said, not to just make it about humanity being the biggest thing in the world or in the universe. It should be, you know, spreading out and you know, upping our resources and abilities, and then if and when we come across other civilizations, working with them to also keep life going.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like recognizing the value in all life, not just human life.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
even, you know, in the current situation, the life of oneself, period.
Yeah.
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 Man, I love you guys. This is awesome that we get to, have these conversations.
Yeah. I think I agree with Noah's more than anything.
Thanks. I had not at all thought about the short term that Joshua was talking about. That is a very good point.
Well, thanks.
It's like the next step towards all of the other steps that would lead to that.
Well, cool. Thanks for having this conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try and roll the credits from memory. Andrew, you can fact check me.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. This podcast is created by the three of us, written by none of us, and edited and produced by me, Joshua. Hopefully it's also listened to and produced by...
Nope.
Hopefully it's also listened to and enjoyed by you, but no pressure, hey? So join us next time as we unravel more of the world's questions, or maybe just get tangled up in them. We'll see how things go when we get there. Love and T-Rex hugs from all of us. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
You messed up.
Where did I mess up?
You added so before join, and you didn't say big. And you also didn't say this whole thing about, and if you have any questions or suggestions.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't have the thing about any questions or suggestions because
nobody
emails
you.
Yeah, littlemiddelbigel at outlook.com is an empty graveyard. So if you want to shout into the void, please email littlemiddelbigel at outlook.com. Where did I miss big?
World's big questions.
The world's big questions.
Well, but what about the little...
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Little questions.
Yeah, I'll edit that for next time.
Yeah, poorly written outro, Joshua.
Sorry, guys. I mean, you could have contributed, but... Anyway, say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Penis.
Great, I'm keeping that in.
Awesome.
Actually, probably not, because then we have to label it as maybe explicit. Is penis an explicit word?
I don't know.
No, like medical podcasts, surely they can say penis and it's not bad. A bad.
Is it a bad?